Sagra takes her daughter to the river to go fishing. There she unexpectedly runs into her sister, who she has not seen in years. The two sisters decide to fish together by the river. They will bring their catch home for a big grilled fish dinner. Early one morning, Sagra grabs a wooden stick and has Hussein herd the flock over to eat some fresh leaves. This serves as a supplement to the flock's diet. Sagra's family had just moved only 2 days earlier to this new pasture. It was the next chapter in their nomadic life. A new location means new challenges, unfamiliar terrain, scarce pasture, and a different climate, but it also means new hope. Sagra calls out to Hussein in the distance, telling him and his younger siblings to watch over the house and the flock. After that, she and Zainab head out to the river to fish. After settling in at the new pasture, their daily life is returning to normal. Catching some fish to take home will add variety to the family's meals and give the children some fresh flavors to enjoy. The mother and daughter are now entering a canyon area, whether it was their previous grazing spot or the new one they just moved to. To get to the river for fishing, this canyon is the only path. Compared to their previous high-altitude pasture, this new spot is much closer to the river. The overall journey is quite a bit shorter. The mother and daughter arrive at this cliff wall. Passing through here means they are out of the canyon. They are not far from the river now. Not long after leaving the canyon, someone suddenly shouts in the distance. Sagra looks up. It is her sister, Zergal. Zergal hurries over to greet her, asking how she has been. It turns out, Zergal was in the valley today, looking for some wild herbs. She never expected to run into Sagra, since they had not seen each other in a very long time. And so, Sagra invited her sister to come with them, to fish by the river. So the three of them continued on together. The sisters, reunited after so long, chatted as they walked. Today's fishing trip now had an added sense of family and companionship. Arriving at the river, they first washed their faces in the cool water, rinsing away the sweat and fatigue from their journey. After a short break, Sagra takes the fishing net out of her cloth bag, ready to make her first cast of the day. Sagra asks her sister, "Do you know how to cast a net?" Zergal admits that she does not know how at all. Well, that settles it. The task of catching fish today will be entirely up to Sagra. The first cast comes up empty. Sagra decides to move to a slightly higher position because the current in this part of the river is quite strong. As soon as Sagra casts the net, the current immediately pushes it slightly off course. After waiting a moment, she starts to slowly pull in the net. As a fish emerges from the water, Zainab immediately cheers loudly for her mother. This fish is a very good size. It has a brilliant shine, making it look very plump. Its belly especially is round and full. It is also thrashing around with a lot of energy. She knows this spot. With this cast, Sagra catches two more fish. Everyone cannot help but exclaim with joy. One of the fish in particular is exceptionally large. It is strong and muscular, even more plump than the previous one. The water of the Helmand River looks emerald green and clear. This often means the fish here are fatter and more tender. That's right. The river is fed by snowmelt from upstream mountains and underground springs. The flowing water constantly brings aquatic plants, insects, and plankton, providing plenty of food. In addition, the river rushes rapidly over rocks, forming waterfalls and rapids. The water is constantly churned, and because of this, a large amount of oxygen from the air dissolves into it. This gives the Helmand River extremely high oxygen levels. High oxygen content, combined with the rich food brought by the current, as well as stable water quality, means the fish here naturally grow strong and plump. Sagar catches a fish with this cast, but the net gets snagged on a rock. Luckily, by moving to a different position, she can successfully free it. This is another fish of a decent size. Its body is long and solid. Her sister and daughter at her side can't help but clap and cheer for her. Next, Sagar moves to another spot where the current is also very strong and casts her net. There are several large rocks in the middle of the river. The current splits between these rocks. Fish often choose to hide behind the rocks because the rocks create an area of relatively calm backflow. Fish can rest here without using much energy, while waiting for small insects, plants, or debris to float down as food. Just as expected, Sagar's cast is perfectly aimed. It lands right over the calm area behind the rocks. She once again catches another plump, healthy fish. In such a turbulent stretch of river, Sagar's ability to precisely judge where the fish are hiding is not based on standard techniques. It comes from years of accumulated experience. Hello, Shorty. Sagar casts her net again. Then she begins to slowly pull it in. Another fish is caught in the net. It seems like her luck is quite good today. If she can keep up this rhythm, she should be able to bring home a full catch today. Right at that moment, Zainab got a little mischievous. She suddenly had the idea to put this fish into this little puddle. The fish immediately did a U-turn and escaped back into the river. Losing one fish wasn't a big deal. Everyone just laughed it off. Sagar gathered the net, found a new spot and cast it again. This time, she caught two fish in the net. One of them was struggling constantly inside. But before they could celebrate for more than a few seconds, that fish fell back into the river. Even after losing two fish in a row, they didn't complain. In their hearts, they believe this is all part of Allah's plan, and they follow God's will. However, as Sagar was pulling in the net again, something else went wrong. The net was snagged tightly on a rock at the bottom of the river. It wouldn't budge because the current here is so strong. The net can easily get caught on the jagged and sharp rocks underwater. This time, getting it free wasn't going to be as easy as before. With a sharp tug, there was a ripping sound. The fishing net was completely torn. Even part of the rope was ripped away. Since it was a section of the rope that was stuck tightly on the underwater rocks, she ultimately had to cut the rope to finally pull the main part of the net ashore. Originally, Sagar's plan for the day was to catch a lot of fish, to bring back for the children to eat, and maybe sell some for money. Unfortunately, things didn't go as planned. The net was broken, so they had to pack up and go home. Before heading back, they decided to find a spot to clean the fish first. They also wanted to boil some water for a cup of tea and a short break. Today's catch wasn't very big, only 7 fish in total. Although there weren't many, each one was plump and healthy. Zainab started cleaning the fish. She cut them open one by one, descaled them and removed the insides, then rinsed them clean. Sagra and her sister Zargal gathered dry wood and started a fire to boil water. The two sisters are both nomads, living in the same region, but both of their lives are incredibly busy. Every day is spent tending to the flock, their children, firewood, and food. There's almost no free time. Because of that, it had been 3 years since they had seen each other. The three of them decided to go play in the river for a bit. They held hands and carefully stepped into the cool river water. This part of the river is very deep. After just a few steps, the water was already past their waists. They couldn't go any further toward the middle. They had to return to the bank and wait for tea. The tea was ready. Zargal took out some potatoes and onions, planning to roast them directly in the embers. Sagra didn't roast her fish here. She saw that there weren't many fish, so she decided to take them home to cook. That way, the children could also share in the catch. After finishing their hot tea, Sagra packed the fish into a bag. She intended to give half of the fish to her sister Zargal, but since it was hard to divide 7 fish evenly, she insisted on taking only 3. After all, they were sisters who hadn't seen each other in years. There was no sense in keeping score. Sharing the harvest was more important than the fish itself. Not long after starting their journey back, they came across a pomegranate tree. Several plump fruits were hanging from its branches. Some were so ripe their skins had already split open. Sagra and Zargal picked a few of the ripest pomegranates. They left the rest on the branches for the next lucky person who passed by. The three of them started on the path home. Sagra brought her sister Zargal along. It was a good chance to catch up on the way. They walked slowly toward the canyon and began the gradual climb up. Come on! Once they were out of the canyon, it wasn't long before they reached home. Zargal curiously asked when they had moved here. Sagra told her they had just moved 2 days ago. The elevation here is lower than their old place, so the climate is a bit warmer. It's better for raising sheep. Sagra poured her 3 fish onto a tray. Zargal also wanted to add the 4 fish from her bag and put them all together, but Sagra quickly stopped her, telling her to take them home for herself. Zara had already placed the fish on the grill and was ready to start cooking. She chose the largest, fattest fish. The other 2 would be saved for tomorrow. As the charcoal fire slowly cooked it, the fish gradually turned golden brown and crispy. Soon, the big fish would be ready to eat. Today, for 8 people, they only cooked 1 fish. Everyone gathered around. and each person got a small bite to taste. Fatima hadn't joined them at the meal yet, but she didn't seem to be in a hurry. Life tomorrow might be difficult, but even with a small harvest, having the family together, plus an unexpected family reunion, was enough to make the day feel warm and complete.